Welcome back to the Craft Aquatic channel. I'm Matt G. This video will be part one of a two-part series on the community fish we chose for our mixed reef aquarium. We'll be covering the fish that occupy the bottom half of the Craft Aquatic 120-gallon mixed reef aquarium. We'll go into a little detail about each individual fish, discussing the special care requirements, the region each fish is from, and what makes everyone a unique and important member of the bottom half of our mixed reef community. Here we have an orange-spotted blenny, also known as the red-spotted blenny or red-spotted rock skipper. They come from the Coral Sea and South Pacific. They are primarily herbivores, feeding off of algae growing on the glass and rockwork, but they will adapt to frozen food and quality flake food as ours has. This orange-spotted blenny has been in our tank for about a year and has not shown aggression toward other tank mates or bothered any of the coral. They are known to nip at the soft tissue of some coral if not properly fed, so be aware of that before adding one. This fish has tons of personality and is a little more rare and interesting in coloration than the common algae blenny, and is a swim bladderless fish, which means it will generally stay lower in the display and much closer to the rockwork. Next up is one of the most interesting fish in our system, our Midas blenny, also known as the Persian blenny. This beautiful golden yellow fish hails from the Indo-Pacific. It is a variety of lyre-tail blenny and is a swim bladderless fish like the orange-spotted blenny. Unlike the orange-spotted blenny, the Midas blenny tends to stray from its chosen cave more often, exhibiting an eel-like swimming behavior that is extremely entertaining. They are scaleless fish, which means they do require perfect water parameters, though they are very resistant to disease. They are generally peaceful, but will exhibit minor aggression if anyone wanders close to their chosen perch. Once settled in, they'll become one of the most curious fish in your tank. The Midas blenny requires at least one feeding of frozen meaty food and 2 to 3 additional feedings of frozen or high-quality flake food per day. This is an orchid dottyback, also known as the magenta dottyback. This 2.5-inch fish is found in the Red Sea in colonies near reef ledges. As you can see, the orchid dottyback is a vibrantly colorful fish with an extremely interesting and active personality. It tends to stay low in the tank, moving in and out of caves and crevices. Though it does live in colonies in nature, an aquarium isn't typically large enough to account for the volume of space required to establish social hierarchy for the orchid dottyback, so they are best kept one per at least 20 gallons. If you wish to keep two, introduce them at the same time into a 90-gallon or larger aquarium. When choosing community fish, I'm looking for different colors, shapes, and sizes that fit into various practical and spatial niches within the tank. The orchid dottyback is the perfect little fish to add character and movement to the lower third of a large reef aquarium. Here we have a Cinammon clownfish, also known as the anemone fish. Like all clownfish, the Cinammon clownfish exhibits symbiotic mutualism with sea anemones. When anemones are not present, a clownfish may decide to take up residence in a coral, as ours has in this red Gonopora. We have chosen to keep ours without a mate since they tend to become very territorial and aggressive toward tank mates and human hands cleaning the tank once in an established breeding pair. Clownfish are a standard in most every reef aquarium. Their mesmerizing oscillating swim pattern and occasional quick darts for food add interest to the lower and mid sections of the mixed reef. This is a Pacific cleaner shrimp. They are common to all coral reef ecosystems. I'm including this invertebrate because, like the fish in this aquarium, it's an important and functioning member of the mixed reef community. Most large fish naturally recognize the value of having a cleaner shrimp nearby and will not attempt to make it their next dinner. Next up is our marine betta. Its natural home is the Indo-Pacific region, living anywhere from 3 to 50 meters deep. I'm including the marine betta in this video because, being naturally nocturnal, this fish tends to hang out in caves in the lower portion of the aquarium during the day, venturing out to no higher than the lower half of the aquarium towards the evening. The name lends a bit of confusion, as this fish is actually a small grouper, and some refer to it as the comet grouper. These smaller groupers grow to around 8 inches, are extremely hardy and disease resistant, but are carnivores with an appetite for small marine fish and crustaceans. It's best to keep them housed with tank mates that are over 1.5 inches in size. Here we have a dragonface pipefish. They're widespread through the waters of the Indo-Pacific and east coast of Africa. It is one of the hardiest pipefish, and since it mainly scoots along the live rock in the reef, can handle the high flow rate of many mixed reef aquariums. The dragonface pipefish feeds on the microscopic benthic organisms, along with many of the reef pests that plague SPS coral, such as the dreaded redbug. This is a red ruby dragonet. It is commonly found in the Indian Ocean. Some refer to this fish as a blenny, but it is in fact a dragonet and shares many of the same requirements as the common mandarin fish. Like the dragonface pipefish, the red dragonet feeds on microscopic benthic life and some coral pests, but can also eat frozen food that falls from regular feedings. A red ruby dragonet can be very hardy and adds an intense splash of color to a reef aquarium. As a bonus, here we have the common Trochus snail. These are interesting to watch and rabid algae eaters that, unlike other common aquarium snails, can right themselves if they fall. Though most of the fish in the lower section of our mixed reef are not particularly rare, we did want to offer each individual a niche or a home to call their own. It seems that aside from avoiding unnecessary aggression, which leads to stress and disease, you can be rewarded with more natural movement as each individual fish occupies all levels and depths of your reef aquarium. It's important to think about your system in 3 parts. Start from the bottom, move up, and consider the role each fish will occupy in your community. Of course, this also means doing your homework before adding any fish to your system. We have a real responsibility as reef keepers, especially when it comes to fish that are being taken from the ocean. Let us know how you approach choosing fish for your mixed reef community in the comments below. In the next part of this series, we'll be talking about the fish that occupy the mid to upper portion of the Craft Aquatic 120-gallon mixed reef. We hope to see you then.